This is IBM Museum, and I have another unboxing to do. Actually, two big boxes, and it's something I've ordered. It's actually two separate systems, but we'll get to that in a moment. Uh, since these boxes are so big, it's even best that I have them kind of off the screen, as you see, and I'll go through and open them up and get the contents out. Hopefully, won't run out of room here. I'm in kind of a little bit of a cramped space for the studio right now, but let me get turned around, get the internal webcam off, and I have to go through. Okay, you have to find the right source, and I know that I have my full field of view now on the screen, and I can get my feet out of the way if I have to. But I do have these FedEx boxes over here, and I realized this was very expensive to ship to me, and I'm very glad to get some of these systems. It'll actually help me in some areas. And the packing tape gets cut pretty good. And we'll probably have to open up some items, and let's go through. It's brown paper and bubble wrap. I can get the brown paper out of the way. I'll pitch it off to the side there. Won't be disrupting or. So there's a power cord for one. So you know it takes the C13 power cord, and that's a flat cable, not round, for the three wires in it. And this looks like kind of the good. I do have other parts I'll be combining. This is probably, it's actually got a cable coming off of it that's hooked below. So we're going to take a look. Purple packing tape again. So we're going to take a look at the size of this. Just a little bit that can be seen through the obscured bubble wrap. And I want to show the end of it. It gives a little bit more idea of what it is. Wow, look at all those missing pins on what is normally a high density 15-pin connector. And so that's a little bit more apparent of what this could be. The bubble wrap will go off to the side here in a moment too. Okay. And my headset's slipping a little bit. I don't know why. Okay. So looks in very good condition otherwise. But I probably need to say for this, I need to say, yo, Adrian. Speaking of Adrian's digital basement, and I think his little mini monitor, and he had some for the financial, connecting up to the financial system. Looks like a little bit, I mean, it looks in really good shape otherwise, has a little bit of thing off there, and on the back, and so Adrian Black went through, and as far as the last thing that I was aware of, he went through and replaced the insides to his monitor because December of 1989, because he had it to where the insides were not functioning, but he replaced them with another CRT, and this is a 4707, and really that sounds about like the same marking as the financial system that I've heard of. And as far as I know, this monitor is not working, or what I've heard about the condition to this. And I might just kind of see, since we have the power cord handy. I know I'm getting away from my unboxing. I don't have anything connected at the time, of course, to the VGA. Let's just see. There's your controls on the bottom and power switch. Again, I have to be kind of careful on how I tilt my head for my headset, just to make sure I don't hear any well, I guess it was in the on position when I plugged it in. I actually turned it effectively off. Here's turning it back on. Okay, so we have raster. Okay, and we've got off kilter camcorder. As well. Whenever that went out, of course, me focused on the monitor. So we do have raster on this. So I mean, there might be some hope to that. Let's go through, power that down, and get to, I think I may have even done my altitude a little bit better on my camcorder, considering I can go through and kind of sit down for this, and you can kind of see for what that looks like. 3.5-inch big button that's unmarked. That nice the bubble right over the top gives kind of a clear visibility through there, and looks like this, of course, the 37 pin connection. And this is a 4865 external diskette drive. And from what I understand on this, looks very clean, that it does not work either. So you should see that 4865. This is a 720 KB diskette drive, since it is unmarked. And I'm thinking for this, otherwise this narrow box, one of the items remaining in here is actually unrelated to this in a way. I think the other bigger, flatter box has the other components to this particular system, but it's a good time to kind of unbag this as well. It actually should have retained a keyboard. That would have been nice. Keyboard and mouse to go through, and I could even start this thing up otherwise. Although I kind of planned for to demonstrate the other item. Okay. This looks really clean too. Just static cling. Otherwise, it's keeping. Okay. So that's funny that, okay, Windows 3.1. I thought it was saying 7. 36SX RAM, 45 megabyte hard drive. And it does have the marking for the Kingston SX Now. And it is a Mol 30 286. And then you can see the back. No adapters in there, and that lower adapter slot is vacated. And then, surprisingly, this, just like, and I had thought that they resolved this for the 286 level. They have the 1 and 2 markings on the back for the keyboard and mouse. And maybe that has an aspect of maybe that has an aspect of the key lock is gone. You notice the white power switch. Okay. But it might have an aspect where the keyboard and mouse can be inverted connections on this 286 level as well. I know that that was the instance for the just put all those bits out. I knew that that was the case for the 8086 based version. I'm just wanting to kind of look inside, and this had a little bit of interest to me for the Kingston upgrade, but also the 45 megabyte hard drive. And that is supposed to be, that was released on the later models of the 3026. And I have one of the drives, but it has a stiction issue, and it so it doesn't spin up easily. So it's been powered down for a while. So this is even missing a riser, which is not necessarily an issue. that almost looks like spider web, although it has a almost like a tar color to it. And there does look to be a little bit, but there's your Kingston, and that's actually the slowest module, the 20 LEM, and the LEM is for the MUL 30. The MUL 3286 and the MUL 2526, and that is the single EEPROM 40-pin EEPROM version of the planer. It looks like it's got actually Kingston RAM in there. That might even be interesting for the fact of the and I think I have some of these 30-pin SIMs too. That might be interesting for the aspect of the capacity of the SIM. Kingston normally mark those. Now the KTM 1000 sounds a little bit intriguing because that is probably a megabyte, meaning that it's got 4 megabyte of RAM. And I have other risers. Of course, this has a Dallas module on it that is probably out, but that might be worth firing up just as a little short segment later on. I wanted to look under the cover just to see what was there, and especially for having Windows 3.1. You'd think rather than a megabyte of memory, which would be if those were 256 kilobyte modules, that 4 megabyte would make a little bit more sense. And there's their 45 megabyte hard drive. And if that is functional on its own, that's some nice value too. No telling if that diskette drive might be, what condition it might be in. But I may go through, as I say, the intent. I do want to go through and power this up sometime and just see what it's got to it. But I've got some bubble wrap packing at least on the ground that I can go through. If I have another power cord, it'd be really good, and I can go through and see if I can find a riser real quick too. And I want to get to the other. Yeah, that's what's remaining in that box. Of course, I have other power cords too. So we're going down a level to the next box, which is just off a screen. And we'll go through. I guess I could have propped this up. I may have to clear, kind of reorganize the bench as it comes out. Let's see. I guess I could have looked at the chips on those Kingston SIMs just to kind of see what they were. See if I could identify them as, because that could be a marking for all 4 SIMs together make a megabyte too. Okay. So lots of brown paper in this one. It is perfectly fine. Okay. We get to, oh, okay, we get down to, it looks like a manual that'll probably reveal what this other item is, if no one's guessed from those two items. And looks like a driven cassette. And so this is Easy Strike. And this is for, show actually the installation instructions. On the back there, here is the booklet for it. So this is a Willwriter 70 Series 2. That's the operator's guide. And let's see, it looks like this is all one big bubble wrap pack. We will go through to get, to not bump any cables, to get my camcorder skewed off again. Okay. And to get this out of the way, it might be good to come back with more power cords in a moment. But I want to get, this up into view that we can go through and unwrap it on the bench. Okay. I don't want to really necessarily tear this bubble wrap. I want it to be in good enough condition to be able to reuse it. I've got to ship some items out, actually. Okay. Get bubble wrap beneath my feet, from beneath my feet, so I don't spook myself and thinking that shots are going off by stepping on it. And I, of course, have other Willwriter typewriters. I saw my screen, camcorder screen, blacked out for a moment, and I don't know if it's a static in the air from this plastic coming off or what. Okay, and then it's got the cover. Okay. So there is the wheel rider. Nice and clean. And just to see where we have the DB37 for the diskette drive, that 4865, and then the VGA or the monitor port. I don't want to say necessarily VGA. I don't know what graphics level these are actually at. But I wonder to get and of course power goes over this DB37. I do have spares of this drive, both with and without a power connector on the end. And with the power connector, they were designed for the PC. Okay. I wonder if to do more of a setup. I know that these have to be have retaining screws that are probably most optimally fastened in there. Let's just kind of set that there. And the it's interesting, for that plug doesn't have a ground pin on it. I'm going to go through. I want to see if I can get this monitor. Is supposed to be out, but I do want to see if I can get some video out. Okay. Monitor connection to. I don't like doing these connections blind. But I do even have my video capture. I'm going to go through and I'm going to pause and get another power cord. Okay. So we have another power cord. And this, as I say, doesn't have that center pin for ground. Some are like that. Get the cords off to the side here. Oh, there's the key lock to the Model 30. It was So indeed, I don't have any display. We're going to try something here. I even wonder what it's going to look like. So we get video to my capture. Never imagined that I'd be going and getting video capture to a typewriter on a screen ever. So exit. And that's kind of cool. Warning us about the battery. I'm going to go through and get myself off screen a little bit. But so yeah, I could go through and do some neat things with this. And so everyone can go through and they can announce that they've now seen a video capture of a typewriter. Besides seeing a segment of my floor of my studio, my crowded studio, I've got some things I'm working on. I'm still trying to work on the bench to get the monitor actually part of the beige bench and get it off my photo rig. I'm just being clamped on. But that's a pretty good view. My webcam image is at least out of the way of seeing the typewriter and the monitor. I'll have to go through and troubleshoot on that monitor a little bit more and see where it gets me. But that's what we have of a wheel writer. And I'll go through and troubleshoot. You'll be seeing this on video a little bit more. I'll go through and troubleshoot that diskette drive a little bit and see if it is functional or not. I'll be going through and seeing what it means by that battery, flashing battery indicator. It's probably got a battery for the backup of the settings. I do see the looks like the diskette controller chip here once I open it. Oh, okay. So, and that looks a little bit corroded, of course, from the alkaline batteries. It's got a 3 battery AA holder that does have some junk there. On it. And so I'll have to go through and clean that up and clean that alkali stuff out of there to get batteries and get up to where I can save a configuration. And this keyboard is otherwise it's adjustable for the height. There's little blue tabs inside to raise the altitude of the back, and really clean system otherwise. I'd even have to look at what the processor is, and even see if I can determine a little bit about the graphics output of that, and try and get this monitor going. I don't know if I may have to go through to the level of Adrian Black to switch out all the CRT, or to get inside this thing a little bit and kind of see if I can determine what might be going on. I don't do a whole bunch of monitor repair, but I might see what I can get on the out of this and see why it may not necessarily be functional. At least it's got that raster scan though, and so I have a little bit of encouragement from that. So that was the big unboxing, of course, mainly for the Wheelwriter, and to show it, to get that video capture on the screen. And I'll also be looking at that Model 3286 and see if I can figure out a little bit more on it, on how functional and what it has to it as well. But if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click on that like button and subscribe to my channel as always, if you have not done so already, and recommend it to your friends so they can subscribe too. But this is IBM Museum. That's all I have for now. Thank you.